Hey everyone, so I almost missed this package. Came back from my run and swim in the ocean to see the UPS truck right in front of my house. But luckily, I did get the package. Here it is. Big old box. Inside of this box is my very first copy of the macOS app icon book. Most of you watching this know how much this means to me. This is the first time that I'm gonna be holding this book in my hands, this thing that I've been working on for the past couple of years. I just wanted to give you like a raw opening of the box, me just rifling through the book, and hopefully it'll all be fantastic. This is literally the first time that I'm gonna be holding this product in my hands. Let's open up the box. Okay. Whoa. What? So there's like 5 books here. Let's open them up. So they are individually shrink wrapped from the bindery. Wow. Okay. Literally the very first book ever to be opened. There you have it. Gorgeous cover. It's really everything I hope for. Just look at it. Look at the way the color moves inside of that diffraction. Let's just compare it to my rather worn down iOS app icon book. Here they are, both of them together. Meet your sibling. They're almost the exact same dimensions. The macOS app icon book has a few more pages in it, so it's slightly thicker than the old one. But yeah. Look at it. Look at them next to each other. I had some concerns initially about having a black book with white text on it. You don't really print white on black. What you really do is you dye in the black parts and leave out the white parts. And sometimes you do it multiple times to get the exact right shade of black. And I'm really happy with how this came out. I was concerned about whether or not this whole thing would work out with the diffraction laser emboss and the black cover, but I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. It's here it is next to my well-worn iOS app icon book, and it's the salt and pepper treatment, right? One white, one black. I'm not going to go through the whole book page by page and spoil everything, but I just want to take a look inside and see the fruits of all this labor. It opens up on this ownership section that we also had in the iOS app icon book. That's been really nice. You can fill in your name, occupation, and address, and you also have a spot where you can get the book signed by your favorite icon designer. And I've seen this work really well for the first book. Lots of people getting the book signed. I've also signed a lot of books. Continuing the salt and pepper treatment here, this part is black, whereas in the first book it was white. So here it is. Dedication, that means a lot to me. All of the content. And yeah, I'm really happy with the weight of the paper. It's the same 170 milligrams of silk coated paper that we used for the first book. And it has a really nice weight to it. Has a good smell too. Here is the foreword that Mark Edwards wrote. Glad to have Mark writing the foreword again. My introduction to the book. It feels really weird to have written 2 introductions to what is now a series of books. A little piece I wrote called The Art of Visual Design, just to get the book started. And then we have icons. I really like the colors that we've gotten here. Of course, ink on paper is not the same as pixels on screen, but we were able to use all of the work that we did for the first book in the RGB to SMYC conversion and apply that, of course, to this book. It's the same paper. It looks great. It's not going to come off on this video exactly like what I'm seeing. And this is a very high gloss environment. I got a light on it here. So you're just going to have to take my word for it. But really, a lot of work has gone into color reproduction, and the icons just pop off the page. So one other concern I had when I started the project was whether or not this icon grid would work for macOS app icons. See, on the iOS app icon book, there's some uniformity to all the icons, right? Because they're all in squircles or round rects. But in this book, because it covers a much longer period of time and many different trends in icon design, and you don't really have the same restrictions on this platform, you have icons of all shapes. And I was unsure of whether or not that same icon grid would work without that uniformity. But I really like how it turned out. I actually think it's even better than the first book. Each spread is more interesting, and I also think I've just gotten better at layout, and there are more bigger icons in this book, which is something that I really learned from putting together the first book that I wanted in here. Here's the first artist spotlight. This is Krista. This is one of my favorite parts of the book. The artist spotlights means a lot to me. It really elevates this from just being about the art, but also being about the humans and them being able to tell their story, share their tips and tricks. And what we've done for this book is that we've expanded the artist spotlights from 1 spread to 2 spreads, which I think is a really nice upgrade. It just gives a lot more breathing room for their answers to their interviews, but also to show behind the scenes stuff, screenshots from tools and supporting work. Yeah, it's really good. Another small upgrade in this book is that most of the artworks are now denoted with the year that artwork was created, which might seem like a small thing, but it actually took a lot of work, and it's all doable now because we have better metadata for much of the artwork. The art submission process has been streamlined, and so we're able to capture a lot more data about the artwork. And I think it really adds something to the book that you can see when each icon was created. It makes it way more interesting to explore these different timelines because you know exactly when this version was released and this version and this version, and it gives you some more context to understand like the history of how things have changed on the platform. And speaking of history, I wrote a short history of Mac app icons. I mean, this is not a big textbook by any means, but I think it really adds a lot of context to the artworks that we have, sort of this technical geeking out deep dive into what changed when. Again, the color is probably not coming through the video, but yeah, this is I'm so happy with how this turned out. Another artist spotlight. This is Matthew, and he has just been one of the most prolific icon designers of recent times, and I'm so happy to be able to feature so much of his work in this book. And it's just a great spotlight with lots of behind the scenes stuff and screenshots from his tools. Another little thing I can share is I really think that this new layout and the whole flow of the book here has been improved. It's one of those things that if we do it really well, no one will really notice. It'll just feel nice. I don't know how many people remember, but in the first book, we tried to lay out the spreads according to the App Store categories. With this book, I did not have that notion to begin with. Which meant that when it came time to lay out these icon spreads, which is a bit like a big jigsaw puzzle, really, I was able to look at all the pieces instead of artificially limiting myself into these sections because I thought that that would be a meaningful way to organize the icons. So what you'll see here is that a lot of these spreads are color-coded. This is a very red page, right? And you'll sometimes see colors and themes, you know, spread across the pages in a way that I think is very pleasing to explore. And it's just lots of little decisions that add up to what I think is a much more smoother experience when you're reading the book. And yeah, it's one of those things where it's hard to point to like one thing and be like, oh, it's this thing here, right? But I think the whole flow of the book is improved. Hopefully people who have the first book will notice many of these little changes that I all think add up to an even better reading experience. It'll all feel familiar for sure, but there's lots of little improvements, lots of learnings that's gone into this book. I just wanted to show you one last thing without spoiling all the other beautiful stuff. This section here at the back that I managed to add in the 12th hour. I'm really happy with it. It's right here. This book focuses a lot on singular app icons or tracking, you know, a singular app icon through various versions of that app. But a whole separate book could definitely be written about the art of making icon sets, multiple artworks that has to go together. And I'm not sure I'll ever get to make that book, so I managed to put in a couple of spreads here detailing some of these icon sets. Got some beautiful work from the Icon Factory here. Yeah, they've just produced so much good stuff. And some of this stuff goes way back. This is an icon set from 2001 called World of Aqua. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun theming stuff. Icon sets is really a fun playground for people and for artists to try their hand at icon design. Here's one of my favorite icon sets, Flurry by David Lanham and Louis Mantilla from the Icon Factory. Yeah, it was just such a, I think, impressive set. And I'm so happy to have some of this art captured in this book. This Discipline by Raven Yu. gorgeous set also. Some of my own work, that's Juice. And look at Gavin Nelson's Monterey set. There you have it, a little unboxing and sneak peek at the macOS App Icon book. It feels really surreal to be holding this after more than 2 years of work on it. And of course it joins its siblings, the iOS App Icon book, on my shelf. And I can't wait for you guys to get this when we start shipping in January. I'm working with the warehouse and fulfillment center right now and getting everything ready for that. I have a little extra surprise for everyone, but I'm going to keep that a secret until you open your packages. I hope you have a great end to the year, and I'll definitely be spending these next couple of weeks rifling through this beautiful book. And if you're watching this and like, oh damn, I wanted one of those books, then fear not, we've made quite a lot. You can pre-order them on flareup.shop. We'll fulfill all the Kickstarter orders first, and then it'll just be regular fulfillment. So yeah, you can definitely still get your hands on this book if you're interested. I am so happy with the final result, and I hope that you will be too. I hope you guys have a great end to the year.